Good evening. Please be seated. It is truly my privilege and my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's Baccalaureate service. It seems fitting that for the first time in a very long time, we are holding this event in this space. And it's pretty exciting to see how full it is, because this is newly renovated space. I would say to you that Juniata is anchored in a rich history as we also stay grounded in the present, in the here and the now, and as we seek to prepare our students for the future. So we sought to preserve the history and beauty of this space, as we also understood the need to make it more contemporary in various ways, including state-of-the-art technology. I will say that our choir is always dazzling, but they will be especially so on this stage tonight, enhanced by the improvements we have made. Having our baccalaureate service in Rosenberger Auditorium is a nice metaphor, I think, for the power of this moment as we acknowledge your accomplishments and your experience over the past 4 years, and as we celebrate the milestones of your graduation this weekend, and as we look to your future. And I would especially like to recognize, because they are with us this evening, Barry and Marlene Hallbritter, for whom Hallbritter Center is named, and who made these renovations possible. Please join me in thanking them. I would also specifically like to welcome the members of our Board of Trustees who have joined us this evening, and I would like to acknowledge our faculty who are present. And I want to extend a special welcome to those family and those friends who are here to support your graduates, our graduates. You are the people who have cared so deeply for these students and who have shared in this experience and have given of yourselves in so many different ways. I want to express my gratitude to each of you for all you have provided these students throughout their lives and the faith you have placed in all of us, which has contributed to this culminating moment of graduation. Thank you. And to the class of 2024, welcome to you. So when I greet new students at orientation, or maybe at your matriculation ceremony, or perhaps at opening convocation, I typically make promises to you on behalf of all of Juniata as to what your experience will be and how we will deliver on that promise. In those settings, it can take me a while to articulate all that, so I'm not going to repeat it. Let me just say to you this evening, what we are really affirming when you join us is that we will do all that we can for you to experience love as Juniata students. Now, I know how that might sound without any context, so let me quote James Baldwin. "Love takes off the masks we know we cannot live without, and we know we cannot live within." I use the word love here not merely in the personal sense, but as a state of being or a state of grace. Not in the sense of being made happy, but in the tough and universal sense of quest and daring and growth, end quote. We are so proud of you. We have been inspired by you. We are in awe of you, by the joy you have brought to this campus, by the resilience and the grit you have demonstrated, and perhaps mostly by your commitment to the power of community and the ways in which you have imagined and defined what it means to be present for one another. Juniata has been made better by you, and that legacy will remain as you graduate and become Juniata alumni. So in the spirit of James Baldwin, know that you have loved while you were here, and know that you are loved. My hope is that you will continue to love in that universal sense of quest and daring and growth as you become Juniata graduates. I now invite all of you into this hour of worship and I encourage you to pause and reflect on your Juniata experience as you savor the present and as you imagine your future. In so doing, I hope we can all acknowledge the beauty of this moment and be humbled, grateful, and inspired, and certainly by the students who have organized this service and by the students who participated in it, including our Juniata College Concert Choir, who will now contribute their gifts to honor this occasion.
So, the Shehechianu. The Shehechianu blessing is an ancient Jewish prayer used at special occasions to offer thanks for new and special experiences. It is a blessing of celebration and of thanksgiving, recited at the beginning of some holidays, as well as times of deep gratitude, such as tonight. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Thank you. For those of you who don't speak ancient biblical Hebrew, the translation is conveniently located inside of your program, but I will read it as follows. Blessed are you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us life, sustained us, and helped us to reach this moment. Thank you.
A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verses 9 through 12. Two are better off than one, in that they have greater benefit from their earnings. For should they fall, one can raise the other, but woe betide him who is alone and falls with no companion to raise him. Further, when two lie together, they are warm. But how can he who is alone get warm? Also, if one attacks, two can stand up to him. A threefold cord is not readily broken. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Benediction. One of my roles on campus was being the president of Juniata's Hillel for 2.5 years. In case you're not familiar with Hillel, it is an international organization on college campuses that strives to provide a home away from home for Jewish students. From the first day of freshman year, I knew I wanted to be an active member of Hillel. That said, I didn't aspire to represent the club. I grew up Jewish, but not as Jewish as you may think. For instance, I'm part of an interfaith family, and I didn't have a bat mitzvah. Doubt crossed my mind. Could someone who doesn't even speak Hebrew lead Hillel? But when the opportunity to lead the club presented itself in the middle of my sophomore year, I took it. It was ingrained in me from a young age that I'm Jewish. My mom enjoys telling the story of one of the first times I identified as Jewish at age 5. My grandmother was telling my mom the importance of reminding me that I'm Jewish. Apparently, after listening in on the conversation and taking a pause to think, I said, "You, me, and Meme are Jewish." My grandmother, Meme, was elated that I had understood. My mom was also happy. I saved her from needing to indoctrinate me. Years later, I understand my grandmother's desire to pass on the faith. When you think about it, it's incredible that the faith has been passed down through so many generations in my family. Traditions were passed down despite all the anti-Semitism that has existed and continues to exist. I admire the strength it took my ancestors to retain their faith despite the pressure to conform to the majority. Being Jewish comprises the identity of my relatives in a way greater than just checking a box on a form to name your religion. I find it beautiful that something so meaningful can unite a family. I take pride in that it is now my turn to continue the tradition. I didn't quite realize what I was getting into when I initially became an officer of Hillel. The work was involved, as you may expect, but I found myself dedicating a lot of energy toward the club's success. We didn't have many events throughout the semester, yet I thought about the club on a weekly basis. I came to realize that the club meant a lot to me. Leading the club became fulfilling. I appreciated the community the club fostered between Jewish students and students interested in exploring the religion. When it was someone's first time at a Shabbat service or Passover Seder, I was excited that someone was interested in my culture. I was also happy when my friends from other faiths came to events to learn about my background. Their open-mindedness proved Juniata's sense of community. We may not all practice the same traditions, but we value each individual contributes to the campus. I remember feeling a part of something greater than myself when Catholic Council reached out to collaborate on a charitable project. The project, titled the Jared Box Project, involved purchasing and assembling items in boxes to donate to children at a nearby hospital. Though members from both clubs were from different religions, we easily connected over what we have in common: motivation to bring joy to those less fortunate. Hillel enabled me to make connections to local communities outside of campus, an opportunity I otherwise wouldn't have had. Over the years, we were welcomed by 2 synagogues to attend their services. At their services, I met other people who grew up like me, who were accustomed to being a minority even more than myself. Rabbi Audrey from Temple Beth Israel constantly supported us. After violence broke out in Israel last semester, she made the trip out to Huntington to check in on us. It was special having people who barely know us care about our well-being. Though I gained much from the club, it certainly came with its set of challenges. For one, it has a small member base, so it can be difficult to get a crowd to come out to events. Sometimes I found myself disappointed if few or even no people attended an event. It made me question if there is even a need for Hillel on campus. Thankfully, I was often reminded of the purpose of Hillel. There was usually one family who would seek out our stand at admitted student fairs, fairs designed to showcase student-led clubs for those considering attending Juniata. It was reassuring when parents or students would express their relief that Hillel exists at Juniata. Another moment I experienced appreciation for Hillel's presence on campus was at our Freedom Seder a few weeks ago. Multiple people came up to me after the service to tell me how much they enjoyed it. They gained meaning from the service, reminding me that Hillel serves a significant purpose. Though it was easy to get discouraged at times, the Juniata community was there to encourage me when needed. I am thankful for finding a way to channel my passion for my religion and culture during my time at college. Hillel gave me a sense of fulfillment in a personal part of my life, something that academics couldn't accomplish. I recognize I likely would not have received the same opportunity had I attended a large institution. I look forward to continuing to develop my Jewish identity in my post-college life. Thank you.
A reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 17, verse 11 to 19. Now, on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going to a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a voice, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." When he saw them, he said, "Go show yourself to the priests." And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back, praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, "Were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except this foreigner?" Then he said to him, "Rise and go. Your faith has made you well." Thank you.
You definitely shouldn't have let me up here. But since you did, I'll make the most of it. In America, we see an urgent crisis in our health. Nutrition, there. It's as if I were in the Bailey, done in under 5 minutes. In a way, that's what senior year feels like. Rushing through, checking boxes, looking toward the end. Really, if I were in the Bailey Oratorical Competition this year, as I had quite desired to be, I would have talked about maybe how health doesn't exist, it's a societal construct, no one method for maintaining one's health works for everyone else. I would have done a cheeky, "This almost doesn't answer the question" speech, because what even is health? Alas, I double-booked myself and found out a little later that I could not realistically be able to speak at the Juniata for the Bailey and to attend a conference 3 hours away at the same time. Regardless, I'll get to it. The speech started out a little preachy, which had me worried. However, Lisa reminded me less is more, so don't worry. I'll keep this under 20 minutes. Baccalaureate is an interesting expectation of students. It is religiously oriented, even though not all believe in religion. I may not have authority on the topic, and I may be biased, but I appreciate baccalaureate. I find this to be one last way in which Juniata is remaining true to itself, to its brethren roots. A good thing when, on the obverse, I often hear from faculty or observe myself the school's newest plan for a facelift, a way to be different, to get away from its old self. In a way, attending or being encouraged to attend this ceremony is like obtaining a liberal arts education. I know that we've all heard plenty about the importance of liberal arts, but in a way, whether or not some of us want to or don't, and whether or not we would prefer to experience what we're familiar, whether we want to learn about ourselves in the world, or whether we ask ourselves, how will I ever routinely be engaged globally after this class? Whether or not we say, I don't know if I want to take mediation after all. No matter what, this type of experience, an introspective type of experience, is one that molds us to be critical and beneficial citizens. Here at Baccalaureate, this is one of the last such moments we will receive at Juniata. On another note, I'd like to give a shout out for Rena, employed in Baker, our dining hall, for those of you who don't know. She'll observe the passers-by, talk to us about what's going on, about what she sees, about our day. She'll talk about the power of words, about the way what we speak goes out into the world. Seeing her almost every day when we stop and chat, she reminds me of where to be critical and where not. That is, she reminds me sometimes where to be forgiving. That is important because I could be critical of Juniata. Many of us are. I could be tempted to say it, Juniata can be cliquey. I mean, you've probably seen me hanging out with some of the same people every day, and the ordeal is similar in Res Live, according to one RA who admitted as much to me. It appears in StudGov, it appears within our academic departments, but I'm not here to be critical or negative. Tight-knit groups here are perhaps to be expected. As some leave, and we better get to know those with whom we're friends and familiar, as we get to be seniors, we tend to associate more frequently and maybe more intentionally with a select few people. This is probably something one should expect at a small school. I think this tight-knit nature also points to a definite sense of community at Juniata, to people invested in each other. And I've definitely gained a lot from it. I have felt supported by faculty, staff, students. If I have a question, I can walk in almost any door and ask. I've been invited to rock climbing, camping, even out to a party or two. So even though I shouldn't dwell on what some, even at rehearsal this morning, have made note of, that is ceremony, pomp, and circumstance, I will note that I'm thankful for what Juniata does offer, which is more than regalia, more than what we see on these 2 or 3 days before graduation. For instance, I can wave too many times to people. I can say hi awkwardly every day, poke fun at people, maybe a little too much, even be confrontational. And people still respond to me. Because I was becoming more subject to some of those behaviors, I actually had a point where I was a little paranoid that because of how irrationally I was behaving, people were mostly being nice to me to avoid dealing with an outright crazy guy, you know. But I essentially learned that this wasn't true. I'm fortunate, having felt heard, respected in our prayer group, at JCF, Bible study, at Catholic Council, I'm fortunate to have a Catholic Mass on campus. I'm thankful that of the problems that could be had at Juniata, religion isn't one of them. You can't say that about everywhere. And I'm thankful for my interfaith engagement, thankful for having been able to find people interested in discussing God's grace while just out and about, thankful for being able to attend Shabbat and other services. These and many other experiences have made me a better person, have helped counteract some of my increasing ambivalence. Thus, there is one area in which I would like everyone to reflect. The title for this speech comes in part from observing the efforts of Dorleen, another baker worker, the proprietor of a new cafe in town, the Rising Phoenix on 5th Street. In truth, it took her about a year to open, but she has been dedicated to the whole process, and now she has her business. On another example, minor anecdote to help illustrate and introduce my thoughts. Dr. Latin, one of our dedicated professors in the music department, has a person he likes to present to students before performances. Mediocrities, the cousin of Socrates. We do not want to be mediocrities, satisfied by mediocrity. Yet, this is what we may become, Juniata. Maybe mediocrity has not yet fully crept over, enveloped the mentality of the senior class. But I know we are tired, despite that life for us has barely even begun. Of course, there was COVID, but also we were trying to drive and respond to countless cultural changes, each of which we find important every day. There should be a point to my speech, and on a stuffy May day, plainly, there is evidence for an invading acceptance of mediocrity at Juniata. It may not always pertain to the senior class, but we surely observe it. Students leaving dishes behind in our dining hall, unwashed hands, things at the institutional level, like trying to be a tree-friendly campus while cutting down almost all of the trees along College Ave on the sidewalk leading up to East, that is. I'm aware of this one's close to Sherwood. We also look at letting construction contractors attempt to fill in a 9-inch hole in the ground with a cinder block. Not the most OSHA-friendly technique. And I say this not to be too tongue-in-cheek. I think Juniata is currently moving in the right direction. But you should take this concern for complacency as a stern warning coming from someone obsessed with being balanced, being in the middle. In other words, a devout moderate, me. Juniata must decide who it wants to be, for it cannot be everything. Sisters and brothers, as the senior class goes forth into the world already tired and yet facing racism, sexism, climate change, infrastructural and educational inequalities in the states, the political implications at home and abroad of war in Sudan, Ukraine, Gaza, and Israel, uncertainty and upheaval in Ecuador, crises of faith, crises of identity, of health that rend our minds into craters, that tear our souls, that decompose our flesh, we still must not become cynical, distraught, dejected before 30. In order to do this, we must have thought about who we are. From those who believe, from those who strive for the social good. Won't you agree? Juniata seniors, many of whom I know, and all of whom I believe are good people, you don't deserve to be lectured on a day like today, your day. But as we graduate go on to bigger, hopefully better things, I hope to actually leave you with something impactful and challenging. I will ask you not to compromise yourselves out of good intent into mediocrity, as I have begun to do myself. Instead, I will ask you to find one thing you value, to cherish it, to devote a little to improving it every day, whether it has to do with physical health or sustainability practices, or having patience with people. What will really make us different in the world we are entering is not POEs or even a liberal arts education, though important. But in the world we are entering, it will be whether we can remain committed to that which we value.
Many of us have guiding principles that shape our lives, even if we don't always talk about them. For me, that's my Islamic faith. It's been a constant presence in my life, influencing my actions and decisions, and a key factor to getting me to where I stand today. Like many others, moving from home to attend Juniata was a big step. For me, it meant leaving behind a familiar way of life, such as the traditions and the sense of belonging. It took some time to adjust, and during that period, I found myself unintentionally distancing myself from some of those aspects of my faith. It was during this time that the true value of friendship became apparent. My best friends, who I was blessed enough to meet my freshman year, went above and beyond to understand my practices and create a space where I could comfortably be me. Practicing Ramadan with me, taking me out to dinner to break my fast, ensuring I had a quiet space to pray in, and always welcoming me into their home for holidays such as Easter, so I wouldn't be alone on campus, are just a few of their actions that have encouraged me to step up here and share my faith with everyone tonight. With that being said, I'd like to share the first chapter of the Quran and follow with a few more words. These 7 verses consist of a prayer for guidance and mercy, 2 things that many college kids often find themselves needing, especially during senior week. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful. All praise is for Allah, Lord of all worlds, the most compassionate, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us along the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not those you are displeased with or those who are astray. In just a couple of hours, behind us will lie years of dedication, challenges overcome, and knowledge accumulated. Before us stretches a horizon filled with endless possibilities, yet filled too with uncertainties. It's at this crossroad where 2 qualities become essential companions: resilience and gratitude. The Prophet Muhammad faced hardship throughout his life. He endured persecution, exile, and the loss of loved ones. Yet, he never lost sight of his mission. He embodied a strong spirit, which we can refer to in the 2nd chapter of the Quran, where it states in verse 155, "We will surely test you with something of fear and hunger, and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient." Our lives, too, will have trials. There will be moments when doubt creeps in and when obstacles seem impossible. But remember that Allah tests us not to break us, but to strengthen us. We must try to acquire the resilience of the Prophet Muhammad, the firm faith that allows us to rise from every setback and draw lessons from each experience. In moments of hardship, it's easy to lose sight of the blessings that surround us. Yet, the Quran reminds us in verse 13 of the 55th chapter, "So which of your Lord's favors can you deny? Every breath we take, every relationship we cherish, every opportunity that comes our way, these are all gifts from Allah." Gratitude is not just a feeling, it's an action. It's expressing our thanks to Allah through our words, deeds, and choices. It's approaching every challenge with the knowledge that even hardship can be a blessing in disguise. It's using the knowledge and skills we have learned to serve communities such as this one and make a positive impact on the world. So let us carry this gratitude with us as we move forward. Let it be a reminder of all the things we have to be thankful for and a motivator to strive for even greater things. Finally, let us not forget the most important ingredient of all: love. Love for God, the source of all creation, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Love for our Prophet Muhammad, a great guide and role model. and love for our fellow human beings, regardless of race, religion, background, or beliefs. So graduates, as you take on this new chapter, remember these values: resilience to face challenges, gratitude to appreciate your blessings, and love to guide your actions. May these values be your compass and guiding light as you navigate the exciting journey that lies ahead. And may Allah bless your endeavors and grant you success in this world and the hereafter. Thank you.
Printed in your program, you will find your response to our litany of celebration. Please join your voices in the response when invited by us to do so. The past few days have been filled with time to reflect, to remember, and relax. Tonight, as we take time to celebrate together, it is wonderful to be surrounded by family and friends, by teachers and mentors, and to recall together the many reasons we have to be grateful. Today we celebrate the abundant blessings of our journey together.
We give thanks tonight for all the Juniata College has meant to us, how it has touched and shaped our lives, and how our lives have become interwoven over the years. We celebrate our daily life together, reflecting back on the presence of caring friends, those who lived and laughed with us, those who sat together with us during tough times, and those who got us lost in honest conversations with us deep into the night, and those who were willing to go on sudden adventures and make memories we'll never forget. Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together.
We give thanks for faculty and staff, those who believed in us and encouraged us to follow our dreams, who persevered through Zoom classes and the trying times of the pandemic. We are especially grateful for those who put in the extra effort to keep the smiles on our faces, to those who set aside time to make sure our voices are heard, to those who stood up for us when we needed to make a change, and to those who had a special hand in showing us we could carve a new path where we had not thought that we could walk before. We are thankful for each and every professor's desire to see us succeed.
Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together. We give thanks for many rich traditions of Juniata College that has bring us all together as a campus community, including Storming the Arch, Mountain Day, Tentin, Magical, the Baileys, and the LES. We are grateful for the various food trucks and free downtown Joes on the quad that we are blessed with. We are especially grateful for all the activity that brought us together and allowed us to build each other up for sporting events, the talent show, and music performance. Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together.
We give thanks to you, our families and friends as well. You were always there for us, comforting us after a long finals week with a nice home-cooked meal, supporting us over long phone calls with your much-needed encouragement, and sharing in our triumphs with unwavering love. We are very grateful that you gave us the opportunity to meet our forever friends and experience college in the best way possible.
Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together. Working together, we have seen many of our dreams come to the fulfillment and have renewed confidence that we'll be able to achieve even greater things moving forward. We give special thanks for the beauty and diversity of the many people with whom we have shared this journey with, as well as the beauty and diversity of the trees, flowers, and open spaces of this campus where we have grown. Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together.
And today, our future beckons each of us to continue on the journey of lifting one another with resounding hope and gratitude, as we all have a place at the table. Let us build our communities with respect, service, and open hearts and minds.
Today we celebrate the abundance of blessings of our journey together. Thank you.
Good evening. You have been welcomed already this evening, and while it's always polite and caring to welcome guests, I also want to say thank you. You may be asking yourself, what is she thanking us for? Indulge me for a moment, if you will. Let me step back in time, 4 years, summer 2020. I know it brings back some good memories, right? For most of the graduates sitting here today, even some of our master's degree students, you were thinking to yourself, I can't wait to go to college. Some freedom, some space, I can do what I want. And then you got the letter, remembered the welcome to the class of 2024, and all the information for orientation on Zoom. And then for move-in. 2 people can help you move in a 3-hour time slot, one-way driving through campus, social distancing, mask at all times, and wait, COVID testing before anything. And then the next piece, the list of approval to leave campus for the weekend, a set number of people in your room, sign up for meal times, directional signs in all buildings, entrance, exits, social distancing, and more COVID testing. And even commuter students weren't immune to all the safety precautions, and you have to admit, we were a fairly safe place to be. To many of you, they may seem like bad memories, and if you'd like to forget them, but let's not dump them too fast, not yet. You see those memories of your first year and how far you've come to make it to this day, and well, tomorrow, for many of you, your first real graduation ceremony, or how these amazing students seated behind me decided upon common themes for this evening: community, fellowship, gratitude, and resiliency. Sounded perfect to me. The readings this evening, first from Ecclesiastes, Marilyn read, 2 are better off than 1, for should they fall, one can raise the other. But woe betide him who is alone and falls with no companion to raise him. Or in Luke, when the Samaritan returned with gratitude and became resolved to the broader community. Or as in Lena read from the Quran, we look together to God for mercy, compassion, and guidance. Lena, Ben, and Bernadette each shared with you of the community they found with their friends, clubs, their faith, and the fellowship they build, not only with those of the same faith, but those that were open to being with one another in community and fellowship, wanting to learn and share who they were and are, being vulnerable. It was not always easy, but I think that your non-traditional first year, with all the safety precautions, the restrictions as you call them, set you on a path for success. You are success because you are resilient. Defiant sometimes, but 98% resilient. Now it's time for that long overdue thank you. First, to the families, all of you, for being brave and giving space, for trusting that you had done your job and let your students spread their wings to their new home where they would be okay. Heck, they were more than okay. They shined like stars. How do I know they shined? Look around. Look behind me. These students seated on stage this evening, all of them, are only a few of the many that shine through the years, whether in the classroom, the athletic field or court, internships, volunteer work, performing on stage, or simply being present. The class of 2024 has conquered the challenge of drive-through high school graduation, if they were lucky enough to have one at all. They are bold, they are eager, they are brave, and yes, they are a little nervous. They are individuals who care about one another, all one another's. Let me repeat that. They care about all one another's. To the faculty, staff, administrators, facilities, Parkhurst, thank you for the care and energy you have given these soon-to-be alumni of Juniata College. And to the class of 2024, thank you for gracing our campus, for being who you are, for caring about all one another's. Francesca's song says it so poetically. We are as different as the stars. And it goes on, we are all unique and strong, but we are all one in love. Special thanks to Francesca for writing the song, All of Blue and Gold, just for us. And to Dr. Russ Shelley for suggesting, we can write a song, Lisa. To to Dr. Pekowski for gracing us with his music talent to do that, and to all the platform participants, we shine because you brought light. Thank you for your love. It is evident as we gather tonight in this special place, Jew, Muslim, Christian, atheist, agnostic, in peace and love, that Juniata is truly a special place. Oh, do not walk away thinking we do not have disagreements. We do. And we can turn to one another for support, to work with and through those disagreements. Resilience to move ahead, and gratitude for the time, space, and experience to do so. And as you move from Juniata, may you be fortunate enough to find a community and fellowship like the one you found here. Laura Dangle's song, Be Okay, there's this line in it. Oh, the sun will keep on rising in that old familiar way, and every little thing is gonna be okay.
We are as different as the stars, but we all can make a change. We have various beliefs, but our doors are open to all. Gifts and talents that help make a better world. Journeys and paths, so many stories that can be told. Different faiths, but we can learn. We are all unique and strong. We all are one in love. We are all of blue and gold.
After the choral benediction, please remain seated until the faculty marshal guides you as we recess. We have dreamed together over these past 4 years, in classrooms and dorm rooms, on the quad, and over meals in Ellis, learning and growing, dreaming of a different kind of community, a different kind of world. Now, as you go forth from this place in the days and weeks ahead, may you continue to live into that dream, bringing it to life, making the world around you a better place.